today I came up Gables West in our C-Wing 5th floor to meet a very special lady, Marty Donovan. She has taken upon herself for past several years to lead our water aerobic class. So hi Marty,
Good morning.
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So tell me, how long have you lived here now in Southport Square?
It will be 13 years this summer.
Oh wow, 13 years,
Yeah.
that's a long time. So how would you say these 13 years have been?
Well, they've been wonderful.
Mhm.
My husband and I planned carefully that we would give up our family home and eventually come to Florida, and then the time came that we knew we would need some extra help as we got older.
Mm-hmm. So prior to moving to Southport Square, where did you guys live?
From Ohio, we moved to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and we lived in Venice for about 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Many of those were as snowbirds,
Mm-hmm.
and after a while going back and forth got kind of tiring.
Mm-hmm. So was that an independent house in Venice?
No, it was a senior manufactured home community.
Mm-hmm. So you lived there for 14 years.
Hmm.
Wow. So that's been a long time. So that means in Florida, close to like 27, 28 years.
Right.
Were you born?
I was born in Washington, D.C.,
Mhm.
and Bob Mattingly likes to brag that we were born in the same hospital because not many native Washingtonians.
Wow.
Most people moved there temporarily or
And then how long did you live there?
I lived there till I got married at 22.
Oh. So you met Ben right in Washington, D.C.?
No, I met him when I went away to college.
Mm-hmm. So where did you go to college?
I went to Denison University in
Mhm.
Granville, Ohio.
And that's where you all met, in college?
Yes, he was a returning vet from the Korean War.
Mm-hmm. So how did you all meet?
Well, he was on the GI Bill, but it didn't provide him enough spending money.
Mm-hmm.
So he worked in the ladies' dining room.
Oh.
So he knew how to do dishes and how to clear the table, and so I thought, well, that would be a good skill to have around my house.
So y'all were married, and then after that, where did y'all move?
Well, I was a junior when he came in as a freshman.
Mhm.
So we had 2 more years, and we needed some income, so I graduated with a teaching degree at the high school level.
Oh.
So I went to work at Johnstown High School, and I taught high school English.
Wow.
And I did a lot of other things like sweeping out the stadium after the football games, and
Mhm.
handling debates, and directing plays, and all of this for $3,000 a year.
Wow. My gosh. When you say $3,000, I'm thinking like, you know how you're going to think, oh, a month, is she saying?
No.
$3,000 a year.
No.
Wow.
I lived in an old farmhouse that had a floor furnace, and it got very cold in the winter, and our dog quickly discovered that he could drag his blanket over and live on top of the floor furnace. And it was only $50 a month, and we had a big garden in the back, so
Wow.
I had plenty of food.
Mm-hmm. And I believe, how many you have? 3 children?
I have 3 children, right.
So,
My oldest one, Michael, is, well, he retired, but he didn't have any hobbies, so he went back to work because his hobby was,
to work.
he's a brainiac, and
Mhm.
he's coming this weekend to visit with his wife.
Oh, yes.
She's in graduate school, and this is a vacation before she goes in to work in the local hospitals as a counselor.
Wow.
So they will come visit me.
So where did they live?
They spent most of their married life in Knoxville, but this most recent job for Mike was in Atlanta,
Oh.
Georgia, so they moved there.
Mm-hmm. And then what about his other siblings?
My daughter Mary is a yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She has a master's degree in multicultural education, but she would rather teach yoga. She has just sold her house,
Mm-hmm.
bought a trailer and a truck, and she's going to visit across the country, friends.
Wow.
She loves to hike, so she's headed for all the national forests and national monuments, and she'll see those and hike and then teach yoga out of her trailer.
Oh, wow. So she's doing it all by herself?
Yes, she has no dogs and no husband and no children.
Wow.
So she's free to go.
That's quite an adventure.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then?
My youngest is Barbara, and she's in California with 2 college-age children. Mike has 6 children,
Oh, wow.
all of whom are college graduates and gainfully employed.
Okay.
Which is very nice.
Which is good.
Barbara took 3 years off. She is a market guru for corporations, and her daughter Haley was a super soccer star, and they had to do a lot of traveling. In fact, they spent one summer in Australia. She was on the American team, and then the next year they went to Europe. So that was quite an adventure. And she's in college now and working at Starbucks.
Wow.
And her younger brother Alex is finding himself and going to community college.
Wow. Very nice. So how many years of marriage?
Ben and I were married for 60 years.
Wow.
He was very sick at the end and lived to celebrate a party that our children put on in the lobby here that was extravaganza.
I remember.
And then he quietly passed away 5 weeks later. So in your 60 years of marriage, anything that really sticks out that you would like to share? Well, the most important thing I think that my children and I remember is having inherited some unexpected money and deciding to buy a used Winnebago and travel across the country. Wow. And we were gone for 3 months. Oh, really? And he was self-employed, so that helped. And we kept meticulous records about where we were and how much we spent and what we saw. And we took a tape recorder, and each day we had a child of the day, and he or she got to tell what was most important. And it wasn't the fact that we saw something really extravagant that you see in all the catalogs. My daughter was most impressed with pit toilets. She had never seen pit toilets before. So it was very interesting and very educational, and my kids still talk about it to this day. How old were your children then? Mike was 12, Mary was 10, and Barbara was 8.
Oh, nice. So you all traveled all over the United States?
We went south first, well, from Ohio, and we went to New Orleans, and then across and through that huge state of Texas, and up the California coast, and dropping into Colorado and Nevada and some of those states, and then across the northern states.
So Marty, I know you first passed so many years. I never knew you were a teacher. So how many years did you teach?
I taught for the 2 years that my husband was in college. And at that time, in the middle of my second year, I found out we were going to start our family. And so I retired from teaching, and we moved from Ohio, Johnstown, Ohio, to Cleveland, Ohio. And we had 3 children pretty close together. And I really missed working, but my husband was traditional and he wanted me to be home with the children until they graduated from high school.
Oh.
I'd like to have had the income,
Mhm.
so I did a little babysitting because women were beginning to go back to work.
Right.
And so I had a big house and I would have kids in and out, and my children helped me in the afternoons. And then from there, one of my parents was a psychologist, and she wanted me to come work for her, but I could do it at home.
Wow.
So I did her billing and her testing and her insurance.
Nice.
And then other professional people wanted me to do it for them. So I had my own business going for several years out of the home.
That's cool.
And when Barbara went off to college, I went to work at a professional answering service.
Oh.
And I enjoyed that, but they were underfunded and were going into bankruptcy. And one of my customers was starting his own business. So I asked him if he needed anyone to come help him with his new business. And he asked me about my qualifications, which I had none, but he said he would take me on part-time.
Wow.
So he was a salesman and I ran the office. So there was just three of us. There was a teacher who was a technical person, TV technical person. So John and Paul and I worked together for 14 years, and the company grew, and we had branch offices, and it was about theater lighting. My boss was a graduate in design, in lighting design, and he sold the computerized programs for colleges and professional theaters. It was very interesting, something I never would have chosen, but I liked it a lot, and most of my coworkers were young and they were fun to be around.
That's awesome. And that's why I like these videos, because each video is so different and so unique, you know. So Marty, what are your hobbies?
Well, of course, most people know that I teach water aerobics, and that's probably my first hobby. Okay. And flat, and look over your shoulder. Might get dumped for that. And I also like to exercise. I have a Lowry organ here that I like to play for relaxation.
Wow. Now that's another thing about you. I never knew.
Well, you wouldn't. And my daughter gave me a 1,000-piece puzzle for Christmas, which is displayed on my dining room table. For 4 months it's been there. And you can see it's not close to being finished. There's lots of pieces there waiting for me.
Right. But that's good. Whenever you get a moment, you can do it. You don't have to do everything, you know, all at one time. And that's really good. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like music, so obviously I have that. I used to be in the chorus, but then my voice let me down and was no longer felt that I was adding anything.
So I have a few questions. So how long have you been playing the organ?
Oh, probably about 10 or 12, 13, probably about 15 or 16 years. I don't get any better, but I enjoy it.
That's great. So did you get it up when you moved in here, or
No,
did you
no.
always had it
I
previously?
had it in Venice.
Okay, you had it in Venice. So
In
so
fact, my instructor
Mm-hmm.
came a couple of times to play in the lobbies when we used to have
Oh,
entertainment
right,
on
right,
Friday
right, right.
afternoons. And he came a couple of times, but he lives in Sarasota, and it was a long trip for him.
Oh, so do you play every day?
I try to do it a little bit every
Oh,
day.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. And then I know you love to exercise in the water and do the water aerobics. So how long have you been doing that?
I started doing that when I retired at 62, when I lived in Ohio still. And then when I came down to Florida, they had a beautiful outdoor pool. And it was open for exercise, but they didn't have any program, music or anything. So I bought a lot of CDs and took pieces off of each one that I thought the tempo was correct for, whether it was a slow exercise or a fast exercise.
Sure.
And then I put it all together into the program that I use now.
I know that you're really passionate about this,
I am.
right since you've come here. You have done an amazing job. And that's a program where residents, doesn't matter Gables West or Gables East, everybody gets together. And
That's
that's really amazing. And I also know your commitment to this. No matter what's going on, Marty is never going to miss the water aerobics.
When I was in Venice, I did it 3 days a week, 2 sessions back to back.
Wow.
I could not do that now.
Right.
Yeah.
But since you did those 2 sessions back to back, you're like in a good physical condition today.
Pretty good.
I know I had seen you working with some residents too, one-on-one, trying to help them and assist them. So tell me more about it.
I really haven't done as much as I would like. I think people are hesitant to ask, and many of them are not comfortable in the water, and they think
Right.
that I'm going to drown them. Recently, I worked with one resident who had Alzheimer's, and she was really so much fun to have in there, and we loved having her, but I had to watch her every minute because she was not, her body was not coordinated, and
Right.
her knees would buckle and she would go down, and I would feel terrible if she went under.
Right.
But that's kind of a sometimes thing. And I had another lady who had trouble with her legs and her balance, and I tried to do it, and it hurt her knees, so her doctor told her not to do it anymore. So
Well, but you've tried, and just imagine every morning when residents come down, get in the pool to exercise with you. They're doing so much, for their health and wellness and well-being. And I think if you were not there and you would to motivate everyone, to encourage and lead them, I think that would have been a great loss for their wellness.
well, I would miss it too.
Right.
I go because I like it, and there are days I get up that, like everyone else, my body says, I think I'd like to roll over and go back to sleep. But I know I have a commitment, and one thing about me is when I'm committed to something, I really give it my all.
Oh, that's awesome. And then I've seen you on Monday mornings. What do you do on Monday morning,
I
Marty?
do wee bowling, which
Ah.
again is so much fun because the ladies I bowl with are so much fun.
So how is your game?
Not too good.
I think it's pretty good.
Well, occasionally I'll have a good game, but I go home and I forget the scores and I forget who won, and
It was having fun.
it's fun, right?
Right. And you guys are always there. Just 8 o'clock or 5 off, you'll will all be there. And that's very cool to be able to be there and bowl and have so much fun. Um, so Marty, a few times that I was here on Sunday, I've always seen you in the afternoon playing some card games. So what do you play?
I play bridge.
Oh, it's bridge.
And again, it's recreational bridge. I never learned officially. I was in college, and somebody said, we need a fourth for bridge. So I sat down, and that was as much instruction as I got. I picked it up along the way. But I enjoy it, but the people I play with are very good.
That's awesome. Any other games you like to play?
I play hand and foot, and I like that. And I do a lot of puzzles at home. I like crossword puzzles and word games and things like that.
So you're trying to keep it all going.
Gotta get it going, yeah.
What about happy hours?
I like happy hour. I like the music. I want to dance, but I'm not a very good dancer, and I haven't danced a whole lot since Ben's been gone, and that's like 7 years.
Oh, it's
6
7 years
yeah.
now?
Well, it's 6 years, 2015.
Wow, time flies.
And he wasn't a big dancer either, so, but I do love to just move.
And I think many a times, don't you all sit, you and your friends, once a week to get food from Chick-fil-A?
Yes, that's Wednesday is our day out, and we usually go to Chick-fil-A, but like last week we went to Applebee's. The restaurants are beginning to open up, but we're big mask wearers, all of us, and we won't go into a restaurant that doesn't require masks, at least when you walk in. And so that Wednesday sort of girls' day out.
That's nice. I think that's the best part about living here, isn't it? Where you're able to have some wonderful friends and just build those relationships.
Well, it's like going to camp for me. As an only child, I craved other children and other adults as friends. And I like to do that. When I was born in Washington, my father had just been transferred there from Youngstown, Ohio. He was a journalist, and I had an older brother who was a cerebral palsy child, and eventually in those days, those children that were low functioning were put into homes. And so I grew up as an only child, and I was very lonesome, and as a result, I grew up in an adult world. And when I got married and had children, I was so thrilled to have a family that I had never really experienced before. And they grew up and brought their friends in, and then they got married, most of them. And I have 8 grandchildren now, 2 great-grandchildren. And my life has been more or less dedicated to them. When Ben and I were living in Cleveland, 2 of my granddaughters would come and visit me in the summer. And then another granddaughter said, "Can I come too?" And then my grandson said, "I want to come too." So we really, for a while, had a nice family with multi-generationals. And it's just, my whole life is focused. My grandchildren are so good to me now. They write to me, they send me flowers. They come to visit, and it makes me feel good, and it's the focus of my life. I didn't do a lot of traveling, mostly our big trip, and then after we moved to Cleveland and Florida, Ben and I took some cruises. And those were the fun things in my life, and now I'm finally enjoying my iPad because I have an instructor who is very patient with me and the rest of those in our class. And not only do we learn little tricks, she also is very helpful with all of the problems that we create for ourselves.
Well, you're getting better and better, and that's awesome. Very proud of you that you come with your iPad to learn. Nothing can be better than that.
But that's one of my hobbies too. I have two computers, and I have an iPhone that I inherited from a gentleman that lived here a few years ago, and I'm trying to learn to use it. It's very old, but everything is Apple, so everything sequences
Right.
together, and that does help.
That's awesome. Very nice. Wow, this is so pretty. This is a beautiful piece here. Marty, that is such a beautiful tree up there on your wall. I'm sure you have some story to tell me.
Well, after our children left, Ben and I started looking for a smaller house. We had a great big old farmhouse, and we drove to Sagamore Hills, Ohio, and they were selling condos. You want to wait for this to go through. There's a story behind that too.
Is there? As we wait for this clock to stop, you just told me there's a story behind that too. So I'm eager to hear that story too. So
Well,
let's talk first about our tree.
The tree. Ben and I went to Sagamore Hills to look at a company that was building condos, and so we built a condo, and it had a cathedral ceiling like we have here.
Wow. Okay.
And a big area like that, and we didn't know how to decorate it, so we were up at the Sarasota Mall one year at Christmas time, and there was an artist there with a tree like this, only it was very small. And Ben said, "Could you make me a large one?" And he said, "Oh sure, how big should it be?" He said, "I don't know, we're building a condo." So he said, "Have a daughter go to the condo and stand on that wall, and I can get an idea of how large it is." And this is what he came up with.
Wow. It's amazing.
So it was really purchased to go into our condo. And then we moved it to a manufactured home, and it looked kind of silly because ceilings were very low. And it looked like it was practically growing out of the ground by the time we found a wall to put it on.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Ben and I brought it here. In fact, when we were at the condo, we offered it to the people there because they had a big, building that was for social activities, and it would have looked very nice in there.
Right.
They were not interested,
Oh.
so I brought it
Well,
here.
it's your tree.
Yeah,
Came right with you.
yes, it
That's
did.
beautiful. And then you told me that you had a story behind this clock right here too. So what is that story?
Well, when I first started with Fletcher's, with the organs, I had my instructor was a good salesman, and he kept saying, "You're really getting better. Let's get you a better organ. You'll sound better." So I worked my way through about 4 organs. And finally, they were having a big contest where they were going to give away a grandfather clock. Well, Ben decided I needed a new organ while they were having this contest. So again, he upgraded me for another organ because he thought I would sound better. I don't think I did. But he didn't win the grandfather clock, but he did win this clock.
Wow.
And so he was very fond of it, and we brought it to Port Charlotte with us and put it in our living room. And every time it chimes, it made him happy. And Jean LaSalle will come up here just to listen to it because
Wow.
she likes it.
That's awesome. And then I see this plant here. It's a fresh plant. Is that something that you always have? Some kind of a plant?
It's a Christmas cactus,
Oh.
and it likes to bloom whenever it wants to. As you can see, I have one little blossom here that's going to bloom in May. Down there, that little white.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know. I call it my orphan because it was 2 throwaway plants that I found in the trash room.
Oh.
And you can say they aren't related. The leaves don't look anything alike, and the blossoms are different too.
Oh.
So it's
Okay,
my
let's
orphan.
take a closer look. Well, at least you're growing it. That's nice. And then I see these rain lilies here.
Do you see that? They're just now beginning to
Yeah, that's
sprout.
cool. Nice. Good to have some indoor plants around.
Oh, I love them.
Well, I can see that wall. Is this your family? Is this a family picture?
The trip I took in November to the wedding of my granddaughter Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Oh, I see you right here.
right.
Yeah,
And I almost didn't go because COVID was so bad,
right.
and I didn't want to fly to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
But my daughter and my granddaughter and my son
Mm-hmm.
made it clear that everyone would wear a mask for all the activities
Mhm.
during the wedding. Because
So,
Jennifer has asthma.
is this your daughter right here?
It's my granddaughter.
This one here
Oh,
in the black and white dress?
she's my daughter-in-law.
Oh, that's your
My
daughter-in-law.
daughter-in-law.
Is this your
My
son?
daughter is in the striped dress, and that, no, that's my granddaughter.
Who is this?
That's my daughter Barbara, and at the very end behind me is my daughter Mary.
Oh yeah, I know Mary.
You
She's
know
come
Mary.
here. So that's Mary. And then who is this?
That's my granddaughter Haley,
Okay.
California.
Oh. And this?
That's my son-in-law, David, and my daughter Barbara.
Oh, okay. So
And
this
my
is Barbara.
That's Barbara, right.
And then,
Granddaughter Patty,
mm-hmm.
granddaughter Jenny,
That's our bride and groom.
daughter-in-law Karen, my son behind her.
Oh, okay. Let's take a cut. All right. And then all these are grandkids?
The little ones are my great-grandchildren.
Great grandkids. Wow.
Yeah.
What a beautiful family.
Yeah, those are all Donovans.
So, where was this? This
Well,
was in California?
No, it's in Nashville
Nashville.
Mhm.
Okay. Very nice picture.
in November. It was wonderful. Thank you. Oh, and around the corner,
Here on this side?
yes,
Okay.
this is a picture that was taken in Nashville, and this youngest grandson is now out in college.
Oh,
So,
wow.
you know, that many years have gone by.
Right. Nice.
No great-grandchildren yet. They have only a dog.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So this was first, and then we went. Oh, I can see Ben. Okay.
You can see Ben. Yeah, Ben's behind me.
Okay, I can see Ben.
Hate to
Yeah.
tell you, I still have that blouse.
Oh, no, that's good. Oh, nice. And then I see both your daughters here, and your son is on the left. Okay, nice. So this is another family picture right here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Are you can see
We can see the progress, you
Yes.
know? It's a progressive thing. We just went the reverse way. And what do you have in your hand, Marty?
I have a picture of my husband and me.
Oh, so
Take it.
let's kind of turn this way so we can get a good look at it. Wow. Okay, let's take a close look. Beautiful. Let's see your dress. How sweet. You're still a beautiful lady. You always were. Look at you. Close up. Nice. Very nice. And then, Marty, I see a picture here. Is it something special?
Yes, it's a picture my grandson Matthew
Mm-hmm.
made with a laser, and then he printed it on a 3D printer
Oh, wow.
that he built himself.
Oh, wow.
So it is very special.
It is. I can see that. Wow. Very nice. Okay, so are these your earrings here?
Yes.
Okay. Like this Halloween ones. Cool. And then what is this box here?
This is when my daughter was in college.
Mm-hmm.
She made this for me.
Oh, nice.
That's very nice.
Did she make it for Mother's Day or something?
I think it was Mother's
Yeah.
Day. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to read what she's written?
Oh, she says, "Here I am in my senior year of college, wondering where I'm going, wondering where I'll be. The only thing I'm sure of is the love you give to me.
Wow.
As the years pass by and my thoughts drift to the past, I remember all you taught me, Mom. Those lessons of life will last. There were times when you would say, 'No, Barb,' and I would make mistakes, but you still gave me room to grow and learn that this risk most moms won't take. It's nice to learn from mistakes,' I said, 'but that, Mom, isn't all. You set me free after advising me and saved me from my falls. So here I am, my senior year of college, wondering where I'm going, wondering where I'll be. Thanks for being my mom and allowing me to be me. I love you.'"
Wow. So you did well staying home and taking care of your children. I mean, look at that. That's so beautiful.
And then my other daughter did a needlepoint.
Oh, okay. Wow. Beautiful. And I like what's written here. A mother is a woman who can take the place of all others, but whose place no one else can take. Wow. How true. How beautiful. And what is this box here? I see a special. Is it something special?
It's a jewelry box that my husband's mother made for me.
Oh, nice.
And I put stuff in it.
Nice. I'm glad you kept this box. Very pretty.
And Mary lived in Columbia. She
Mhm.
taught school in Columbia and brought me a lot of things like this. And those cover-ups that I wear to
Right,
the pool,
right.
those came from Columbia.
On the side. Oh, nice. Very nice.
This is my den where
Oh, here?
I'm never picked up. It's never neat. It doesn't have to be. And I have all my pictures of things that have happened that are important to me on my bulletin board.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Look at these. The grandbabies, great grandbabies. Your little cute bulletin board here. See your daughter. And then you have your two computers here, I can see.
Right, these are my two grandsons, and this kind of revolves around.
Oh, nice. Okay, so computer, printer, all your special moments are right here. Your three kids. Nice.
And this is how they looked when they were young.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. And then this is your lanai right here, right? You have a nice view from here.
I love it. I love it. If I could only get my vinyls clean.
Okay. So Marty, it was just such a fun time to just getting to know you better and just, just learning more about your life and your passion for the pool and just so many interesting things and getting to know a little bit about your family. It was really very, very nice. So I would like to thank you for your time and I'll see you around, probably while you are in the pool.
Thank you.